seizures.
It's incredible. Robin, the vast majority of patients who have seizures will be able to control their disease quite well with medication. However, there's a small group of patients who must turn to surgery to control their seizures. Now there's new technology that will increase the likelihood that surgery will be successful and that these patients too can lead a normal life.
All right.
This is my brain, and this is the exact place and moment in time when my brain is recognizing one of my colleagues. I'm being shown a series of random faces, but sprinkled in the unknown are some people I know very well. Using a new high-tech brain scanning technique called MEG, we can see the instant my brain recognizes someone and exactly how that thought travels through the rest of my brain in just milliseconds. MEG, or magnetoencephalography, measures the magnetic fields produced by electrical activity in the brain. We know MRI, EEG. What does MEG do that's different?
MEG combines very high spatial resolution with high resolution in time and identifies not only functional areas but also dysfunctional areas.
This really shows you what isn't working.
What isn't working is important, but also the time course over which things happen in the brain can be resolved much better with MEG compared to other tools.
In other words, this blurry traffic footage is the information other scans give. You know, cars are moving, but can't tell much about them. But a MEG scan lets you see much more specific information about the cars. Where they are, who's following, and who's leading. It can capture detailed information in milliseconds. And for patients like 18-year-old Amanda Momberg, that can literally mean the difference between life and death. Amanda has had epilepsy since she was 8 years old.
I shake on one side and I can't talk, but I can hear people talking to me.
Now with your right hand, can you let us?
For most of her life, the seizures were controlled with medication. But in December of 2008, that all changed. Amanda suddenly started having 60 to 100 seizures a day.
It was very scary.
It was awful. It was not in control. You couldn't do anything about it.
Medication wasn't working, and her first surgery was unsuccessful.
Well, she started having seizures again. That's when the topic of the MEG scan came up.
Okay, Rich, so we're going to start now with the movement task.
On me, the MEG scan is a bit of cool experimentation, a chance to look at the way my brain works. But for Amanda, it was her last chance. The technology is so new that Froedtert Hospital had just gotten their MEG scanner up and running. Amanda became their first patient. So all of that activity really started up here. Right. The MEG scan showed Amanda's abnormal activity started right here, in this tiny spot other scans had missed. If you just had this picture, you'd have no idea that it really started there.
Yes, exactly.
The MEG scan showed the seizures were beginning in an unusually deep fold in the brain, a part of the brain that looked totally normal on the previous brain scans. So MEG really completed the puzzle for you.
It identified a target which was right in front of her motor areas, which we could potentially go back and take out. Hold your arms up like this.
It's been almost 1 year since Amanda's last surgery, and she hasn't had a seizure since. What's your life like?
It's amazing. I can go to school and I can work. Probably the first thing I thought about after I knew I wasn't going to have seizures anymore was having kids, because I just love kids.
What's it like for you to see a whole new life ahead for your daughter?
It's amazing. I feel like every door is open to her. I think the sky's the limit.
Right now, there are about 30 MEG scanners up and running around the country, and it's not the first test that people with seizure disorder should expect. That's going to be the EEG and the MRI. The American Academy of Neurology recommends studies for those patients who are candidates for surgery.
This is just unbelievable, Rich, and whenever we do a story like this, two questions come to mind from our audience.